Hi and hello, watch fans, and welcome to another edition of The Real Time Show with me, your friendly neighbourhood watchmaker, Rob Nuds, calling in from the Villa Sarasan in Geneva for the Time to Watch's 2025 event. I'm joined by Cedric from the White Star Company, and we are about to learn about his watches, about the novelties, and about his experience of the fair so far. Welcome, Cedric.
Hi, Rob. How are you?
I am very well. We're both baking inside the glass igloo because the sun has been shining all day.
Exactly.
And we're in a little greenhouse.
Who is going to melt?
There's some ice right next to you, which you can put down the back of your shirt.
Yeah. But for the moment, it's okay. Maybe in the next 20 minutes, I don't know. But right now, okay.
If the recording suddenly stops, one of us has passed out. But don't worry, we have medical attention on site.
Oh, great.
So, Cedric, you've been showing your watches just around the corner from the villa in the annex. Now, that annex is known for having excellent light, actually. That's what everyone says. All the journalists say that it's very easy to photograph the watches in that area. The villa, of course, less so because it's much more enclosed in a historic building. How have you found the reception to your pieces being shown in that environment in the annex?
Okay, for the moment, it's very great because, this is our first exhibition. And we had no idea about how people will see and feel our new brand and new watches. But for the moment, right now, we are very happy because we have a lot of good feedback, and the brand and the watches are good success, for sure. Very good success. We are very happy.
So give me a rundown of the company's history.
Okay, the company has been founded in 1895 by Mr. Henri Weiss. He was a watchmaker before to become a master of watchmaker, and he signed the first watches, pocket watches at this moment with his own name, Henri Weiss, before to create the company White Star Watch in 1895. And this family had 4 generations till the crisis of the watch industry just before 1980. And at this moment, the last member of this family, a little bit old, without any children, he decided to stop and to go slowly with the brand because the quartz and electronic was not for him, because White Star Watch is only mechanical watches for sure.
Okay, and when did you get involved?
When myself?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to take this brand in my hands, and it was very great for me because, I come from the same town, La Chaux-de-Fonds, not the same year, for sure, fortunately. And it was a great opportunity for me because I spent 30 years in the watch industry. I've been working for Swatch Group for 7 years, and Richemont Group for 12 years. And it was great to work for specific company like Piaget and some others. But at this moment, it was the opportunity and the possibility to have my own brand and to see something completely different, is to be in the other side of the activity. And this is great for me. Because after 1 year of activity about this brand, in terms of development, marketing, strategy, we are now in the first contact with our public. And this is very, very interesting.
What were your goals when you came here to Geneva for this event? Was it to simply get feedback from everybody that visited your booth, or was it to find retail partners? Was it to establish relationships with media, or was it to actually sell watches to the end consumer?
My reply will be very simple. We are looking for everything. That means we are looking for people, buyers, and also distributor, retailers, and maybe investor. Why not? Because we have to develop this brand in another dimension. This is very important for us because we have legitimacy, credibility, beautiful brand with a great storytelling, and we are very ambitious, and we expect to do the best in the next 2-3 years in order to put this brand in the firmament, in the sky of the watch Swiss industry.
Well, I wish you all the best in that pursuit. Let's talk about the novelties that you're showing today at the fair, or throughout this week, should I say. you have a few watches with you. Would you be kind enough to describe some of them to me and let me have a look?
In fact, just before I have to explain the philosophy of the brand we have a great, how to say that, a great history, and many pieces has been produced by this brand during the 20th century. And the idea, the concept of the brand is to go back in the past and to discover the nicest watches they have produced during Belle Époque, Art Nouveau, Art Deco, Disco, Flower Power, many years in the 20th century. And at this moment, we have decided to start with the year 1950 with a three specific model. The third model is emblematic. This is a diagraphic model created in 1951. And for this new edition, we had to create a new movement because the original movement disappeared for sure after so many years. And we have developed a new movement in order to have the almost exact same complication and function. We have 7 functions and complications on this watch.
May I take a look?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really intrigued by this. Okay, thank you very much. Please go ahead.
At 12, you can see a small dial, and here we have the day of the week combined with the day-night function. That means the sun is turning, and when it is exactly at the line with the day, we know that this is a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, for example, and this is the day. During the evening, late in the evening, the sun disappeared, and we have 3 stars appearing, showing that the night is coming. And early in the morning, the stars are disappeared, and we have again the sun indicating the exact day. I have a UV lamp, if you prefer.
Sorry, it's UV.
This is UV? Okay. Wow, you have everything.
We can prepare.
You are a specialist, but mine is nicer than yours.
Oh, yeah, yours is much nicer than mine. We're doing that classic watch nerd thing where we're comparing UV lamps. It's a very strange male fascination. Go on, then. Let me have a go on yours.
Okay.
Come on, yours is bigger than mine. Thank you very much. There you go.
You're welcome.
You hear me say that very often. Carry on, please. It's incredible.
Okay, this is the first model, the most emblematic for us. The second model is neographic. This is a moon phase with a day-night function. The date and the crown are at 2 o'clock. And we have a very specific sunray dial with a right balance, you can see. From the back, because at the beginning I'm jeweler. And for me, it was very important to go as deep as possible in terms of quality and design. Every square millimeter has been thought. We made a lot of prototype in order to find the right shape about every component of the case, for example, and the back case, and every other component. And this neographic has been created in 1958 with more interpretation, because the previous model diagraphic is almost identical. This one has more interpretation.
This is a very strange thing to observe because it is unlike anything I've ever seen before, but it feels like I've seen it before, which I've always said being fresh and familiar. That's the way I describe it frequently in my articles is the goal really of a novelty. It should be new, but it shouldn't be jarringly so. I think what is maybe unusual about this is it's a very classically styled case, but extremely precisely machined, gorgeous transitions from the finishing, from the polishing to the brushing.
Exactly.
They're absolutely laser sharp, no buttery edges, a completely even light bend around every surface. Quality is superb. Wow, I am impressed. These are very, very, very nice watches. And what's the price point for these?
For this neographic, we are between, in Swiss francs, is okay for you?
Totally fine.
This is between 2,003 or 500 Swiss francs.
Wow. There's a lot of complications for the money.
And the previous one, the diagraphic, is between 4,000 and 5,000 Swiss francs.
Yeah.
We have the gold model in 18 karat with a small diamond on the crown, which is at 22,000 Swiss francs.
Okay. So it's not a micro brand. It's a small independent with proper pricing and proper complications and excellent finishing. So
Thank you very much.
congratulations. It's very obvious. It's definitely a product people will need to see in hand. I think it's very important.
Exactly, because if you don't have it in hand, it's difficult, very difficult to imagine. This is what we have seen, that when we post some images on Instagram or LinkedIn, we have to make a lot of focus in order for the people to see all details, because the details are well known in this watch. This is very important. This watch is a third model. This is Unigraphic. This is a freehand model, also with a crown at 2 o'clock. And this one is a blue model with a constellation of stars. If you use a UV lamp, you will see.
Wow. Okay, the entire constellation blazes to life. Is there lumen the star on the tip of the second hand as well?
Yep.
Wow, that's nice.
You can see the small stars on the second hand moving.
Yeah, this is unusual because the second hand tip it's kind of like it's a lollipop second hand in terms of layout, but the lollipop itself is actually a star. But rather than just being an outline of a star that's infilled with liquid lume from the back, it is a star with a star within it. And so it's the outline of the star that is glowing in the dark. So it comes across extremely precise. Again, very nicely done. I'm getting as close to it as I possibly can without a loop. And it looks like flawless application. So again, very well done. And what's the price of this piece? Closed case back on this one with a nice deeply... Oh, is this engraved or embossed?
It's engraved.
Engraved, okay, that explains it.
In order to have the right quality.
Okay.
High quality as possible, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's really obvious. The depth of it is superb. The depth of the caseback logo with a really cool, it's an 8-pointed star, or should I say 2 4-pointed stars overlaid one another with a W in the middle of them. That's the logo. And the word mark appears on the other side of the dial, slightly curved above or in between 12 and center. Really, really fantastic stuff. I'm impressed, and I'm going to have to come and spend more time at your booth to study the remainder of electric.
Pleasure. You will be welcome.
So we're going to wrap up the episode there. It was really nice to meet you, Cedric. I hope that we can get you back on the Real Time Show for a full 1-hour episode so we can dive deeper into your history and also the future of White Star Watch. Yep. Thank you, and I wish you a successful end to Time to Watches.
Thank you a lot, Rob. Thank you.
All right, sailing into Time, a brand I know you've not had any exposure to in the past, Alon, so asking you what you think of it is a bit of a stretch, but I will tell you what I think about it straight off the bat. White Star Watch Company, incredible product. Maybe not everyone's cup of tea stylistically, totally understand that if it's not your thing, but I have to say, everything comes together really, really well, extremely wearable, I think very classic in most cases. Couple of things here and there I would maybe change if I'm being ultra picky, but specifically the diagraphic model is really, really top stuff. So you've not had them in hand. I have. I think the quality is great. What do you think looking at this brand from afar?
So I've said this several times now that I am bummed out I missed interviews. White Star actually was very high on my list because I've never seen one, not vintage, not new. I honestly did not know they were revived. And that begs the question, are they revived? Were they always running? The diagraphic, I think, looks great. That being said, it could have been an Oris, it could have been a Vulcain, it could have been a Nevada Gentian. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but you see that they pushed the envelope a bit. What I like about the moon-phased diagraphic is that they have these little balls as day indicators running over the sun-moon disk or whatever that is. It does have its own character, and it's not a one-model brand. The Neographic also very much resonates with me. The Unigraphic could be a Tissot, a Union, a Certina, We spoke about the Vulcain Grand Prix. It could have been all of those. But 2 out of 3 have their own DNA and character. Now, have you seen the Neographic, Rob, for 27.5 Swiss francs? And is it expensive? Is it worth the money? Or do they punch above their weight? And have they been relaunched, or have they always been going since 1895?
I believe there was a period of, shall we say,
Dormancy?
dormancy, yeah. But 130 years of traceable history, at the very least, is still quite impressive. And I think a lot of the know-how accrued over those decades is on display with the execution of the Neographic. Now, I don't like the style layout very much. This is one thing that I would steer clear of. I think that it's ambitious. I don't think this one lands as well as the Diagraphic. And if I had my way with a Diagraphic, I would do a non-moon phase version, because I think the black dial, cleaned up without that moon phase with a full 12 o'clock indicator, would look absolutely gorgeous. The Neographic, 2,900 francs, I think you can't quibble with the price of these pieces, to be fair, because of the way that they are made. You may not like the aesthetic, and like I said, this one wouldn't be for me, but they are worth the money. They are an interesting brand to be operating at this price point, because you can get a lot of much better known stuff at that price and lower. You can also get a lot more experimental or interesting stuff at that price point or lower. But what they do well is they have this slightly out of the box take on classical watchmaking that will very much have an audience. You can just feel it. You know, this makes me think. It makes me think of the Golden Compass movie, or His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. What was it called? The first one, Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife and the Amber Spyglass. That trilogy of kids' books where they exist in a kind of steampunk-esque future. It has that kind of vibe to it to me. It's the kind of thing I can imagine an airship pilot wearing as he docked with a skyscraper in an alternate future. So I get a real sense of the world in which this brand exists. And I think I get the sense of transport, maybe because the name makes me think of Titanic. And I get a sense of like new technology at the dawn of its understanding. Like I see telescopes, I see Newton's cradles, I see navigational instruments like sextants, or, you know, old maps laid out on a table and ink wells and whatnot. That's the kind of vibe I get from this. And I like that. I like the way that it can communicate a whole universe to me without doing that much that's wild. And also, in the case of the Neographic, doing something I particularly like. So I like the sense that I get from the whole collection. I like the sense that I get from the watches, even though each individual watch is not for me. Although I am so in on the Diagraphic and think that there is so much potential with that line to be even better, that I'm going to keep a very close eye on the White Star Watch Company. And actually, I think going to reach out to them and see if they want to work on some stuff together, because I think there's a lot that can be done here.
Interesting. And thank you for those insights, because it's cool. I have now experienced what our listeners experience. So I am literally oblivious, and I'm digesting this content like a watch collector. So thank you, Rob. And I definitely agree with you that there could be some synergy, especially if you interact with them. So, dear listeners, we would love to hear your opinion about White Star. And if you don't know anything, check their website.